now falls the doom of man, where children kill, and sinners cavort with beasts and seep supplication among the gibbering bones of the dead. I once thought little of Undertale, that it was a passing curiosity, and naught else. I thought the world a better place. The fan base of Undertale, as far as I knew, seemed composed of harmless autistic children in desperate need of a father's stern discipline, degenerates who flog their disgusting, shame-encrusted genitals to thoughts of smug anthropomorphic animals, telling post-ironically bad jokes, and that one guy from work who always smells like pee, even after taking such a tremendous shit that his brow brims with sweat tainted with reconstituted toilet water condensation. But it's worse than that. Over the years, I have death marched through some truly repugnant indie games that seem to only exist to validate the egos and student loans of their creators. At times, I wondered, if God exists, why doesn't he strike these indie games and the pretentious monsters who created them from the record, cast them to the wind like the ashes of a sinner burnt in the cleansing fires of hell? Now I understand. Goodness is but a dry whisper in the torn throat of the condemned. Undertale has opened the way to a horrific realization. God has no hand in this. It is 100% the work of the devil. In Undertale, aka Spec Ops the Spectrum, you play as a young Bjork as she suffers hallucinations brought about by what I can only intuit from her piss-yellow skin is end-stage kidney failure. The plot has something to do with several Steven Universe fan characters being sealed underground in order to protect the human world from their corrupting influence, and those monsters being too stupid to build a ladder to the top of the hole the protagonist falls through at the beginning of the game. And let me make this perfectly clear, the humans in Undertale were right to steal the monsters away. The monsters of Undertale double as NPCs, and if you fail to kill them in the wild, you just might fall victim to a terrible fate in town. If you aren't careful, you may accidentally wind up talking to one of these horrific abominations against the machinations of God's creation, or even worse, taking one of them on a date! These digitized demons of degeneracy include a pedophilic skeleton that attempts to take your human child character to the bone zone by repeatedly offering to shove his flaccid noodle and his steaming hot, meaty balls into your mouth. To think there are souls so lost in the miasma of perversion and self-loathing that they could find these dates appealing. Why, at one point in the game, you are forced to pity date a fat lesbian dinosaur. Oh, it's high school all over again. Except this time, the acrid smell of second-hand cervix-scented burps resonates in my olfactory senses only as an all-too-horrible memory. At the very least, knowing Alphys is a twat-tonguing triceratops, we can finally understand why dinosaurs became extinct. Apparently, prehistoric Jews poured fluoride into their water too. Also, the constant barrage of lesbians in Undertale provides an alternate explanation as to why the Black Lagoon monster girl's fingers always smell like fish. Graphically, Undertale breaks new grounds in terms of using MS Paint to create assets. If I knew this was possible, I would have never deleted all those squiggly boobs I drew during 5th grade computer class. It's probably for the best, though. If any of the students saw, I would have lost my teaching job. Though to be fair, unlike most modern games, Undertale does include reflections, which is important, since if you are pathetic enough of a soul to play this game, I suggest you put on some clothes, climb the basement steps, ask your mother's friend Lamar if you can use the master bathroom, and take a good long look at yourself in the mirror. I don't care how slender, and supple, and hairless, and inviting that Spider-Girl's legs are, or how nice her warm, fresh from the spinneret webbing would feel on your one massive testicle that is the result of a horrific suit tailoring accident, or how when you finally bust a nut in that slut's front butt, then her kawaii pixelated face, you can listen to her wail as your red-hot Alabama mamma jamma stings all 8 of her beautiful eyes. Wanting to make sweet, gravity-defying love with a tsundere arachnid atop a pile of desiccated insect remains is wrong! Do you hear that, Satan? I rebuke thee and thy digitized temptations in the name of little baby Jesus. Hallelujah! I am deeply disturbed to know that these dates are some purple crew-cutted, non-gender binary, avocado-eating, father-resenting, Tumblr-posting, doctorate in 16th century feminist dung sculpture-holding, perverts fantasy. Whatever happened to jerking off thinking about that fat bitch you sometimes see at the bus stop? Hell, sometimes I climb atop the bus top roof and fling some string from my thing on the back of an unsuspecting fat bitch, just out of the principle alone. Do you really need to drain the poison by thinking about an anthropomorphic goat mom or a robotic David Bowie, do you have any idea how horrible it would even feel to fuck a robot? Metal does not give way to flesh. Rust is scratchy, and the man at the store will refuse to take back your Furby, even though you have the receipt. Now, some people would say that Undertale is a fun game, that the ambient music, friend-making mechanic, sense of humor, bullet hell combat, and multi-layered playthrough progression makes for a unique and interesting experience. Rebuke these people. Hold out your hands, not to clasp theirs in friendship, but to reject the demon that resides within them. Overall, Undertale is a fitting name, since under a tail is an appropriate place to find animal feces. You can play it if you want. If you want to play later, in a lake of fire, that is!